Hello and welcome to the Success Showcase. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin with the Modern Observer Group. And with me, as always, is Chip Janiszewski from the Happiness and Success GPS. Chip, how you doing this week?
I'm doing great. How are you, Eric?
Doing fantastic.
We have summertime here today. It's been a little bit cool recently, but today it's in the 70s and it's supposed to get into the 80s and the 90s maybe this week. And so we actually have perfect guests to celebrate summer coming. So um, it's so cool to have Laura and Herb here today to talk about a very fun happening that's been going on for many years in West Hartford.
All right. Well, with that, Laura, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and Capital Classics?
Well, thank you for having us. I am Laura Sheehan. I'm the co-founder of Capital Classics Theater Company, along with Jeffrey Sheehan, and also here is our board president, Herb Emanuelson, who's been with us for many years. And we are perhaps best known for the Greater Hartford Shakespeare Festival, which is a summer staple event in Greater Hartford, specifically West Hartford, on the beautiful campus of the University of St. Joseph. We're an outdoor Shakespeare festival with an indoor venue for those times when it rains. And we do access that. So the show goes on, rain or shine. But it's wonderful to be here. We've been in existence for, I think, 34 years, the last 20 in West Hartford.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and I've been to many shows in the past. Haven't been in recent years, but it's great to start seeing you again because it's been a little while since we'd run into each other until like the last several months or the last year or so, running into you and Herb again at different events. And this year is your biggest ever. I mean, basically what you've had in the past is a 4 week, I think it was 4 week run from like Thursday or something through Sunday. At St. Joseph's. And as you mentioned, it's outdoors and indoors if the weather gets bad. And I just remember bringing my mom there and family and actually inviting other people to meet there because it's just a great place to pull up a lawn chair, bring your picnic basket, bring a bottle of wine, and just have a great relaxing time. The shows, before the shows, you have minstrels just walking around singing songs and interacting with the crowd. And you're just sitting there right in front of them. So you feel like you're actually part of the performance. But this year you have two of them going on, so it's fantastic to see the growth. And what I'm hoping to do is get a gang of people to come this year too. So tell us about the show dates and what you're doing this year, and it's maybe how people can get involved sponsoring and that kind of thing too. So because
Yes, I'll start,
Yeah,
but then
absolutely.
Herb, you jump in. We are doing a 2-show season, a true festival season, and that really came because our audience since COVID, interestingly enough, has grown so much that we've exceeded even the outdoor space. And so we are doing 2 shows for a total of 20 performances, 10 each. We're doing Hamlet and The Taming of the Shrew. So a little bit of everything in that mix. And they'll be running from July 10th through August 4th. We're going Wednesday through Sunday performances. So it's a heavy week of performances for 4 weeks. And you can see the full schedule and you can get tickets at capitalclassics.org, CAPITAL classics.org. So that'll be July 10th to August 4th in West Hartford.
Yeah, this is a big year for us. Laura's right. We've seen steady growth since COVID last year. I thought it was we just kept breaking records year after year after year. We had over 450 people coming to one of the performances last year, and then it was a record-breaking year for us. So we have taken the steps to try to accommodate continued growth. We've added Wednesdays. We've added a 4th week. And because of a bigger audience, they have to fit further and further away from the stage. So this year, we're actually adding microphones and sound amplifications in a very tasteful way. So you still feel intimate and close to the stage and close to the cast. But we are adding microphones to help for folks who are sitting in the balcony, as we call it, which is really just deeper back on the lawn.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you attribute this growth to?
I think a renewed interest in classical theater and celebratory theater that also connects to the world. It's like a new discovery for a lot of people to go and see something like Hamlet or The Taming of the Shrew, and take the latter, for example. It's going to resonate with the audience, because here we have a world in which the women are bought and sold, they're a commodity, but it's a funny comedy and everything's just supposed to be funny. And then at the end, you think she's winning and she kind of breaks through and finds love and happiness. And then she totally commits to being objectified and being subservient to her husband. At least that's what the language tells us. So to me, what does that do to a modern audience? Well, it's all fun and games until that last minute. It's a little jarring. Wait, how do we treat women in our society? How far from this are we? And so Shakespeare is that mirror. And I think people enjoy the rollicking nature, enjoy being outdoors, because it is an event. And I think the growth has come from 34 years of doing it. We hear many stories like what Chip shared of coming with relatives, or we'll have young adults now say, I started to come with you when I was a kid and now I'm back. And so it's grown over time. And we do keep all Connecticut performers and artists. So we're really focused on keeping Connecticut's talent in Connecticut. Everybody's paid, everybody's a trained professional or a student in a training program going into a professional theater career. So it really is buy-in for Connecticut, I think. And mostly, to me, if I had to say one thing, it's being outside and being able to do something fun and
That's
being
what I was
under
going to
those
jump on,
stars. Yeah.
Laura. I was going to jump on that too. I read an article, it was in the New York Times, and talking about are people going back to the theater, yes or no? And what they're saying is that if I'm going to leave my couch and my beautiful flat screen TV, you got to make it an experience. And that's something that we do. It's outdoors under the stars. You have the moon coming up and the birds chirping and the crickets start and the lights under the trees start to glow. It's just magical. You're there with family and friends at a picnic dinner, and it is truly an experience. And that's something that is unique to what we do. I love going to theater in a theater space, but there's nothing like being outside. And I think that's something that has helped our numbers.
And if I could add one more thing, it's because we're really good at doing Shakespeare and having people understand it. And that isn't something I say frivolously, but it's something that comes out of years of developing expertise in this. And I could talk forever about how we do it, but the outcome is, a lot of people ask us, is that really his language? Did you change it? No, we trim it, but it is his language. We just act it in a particular way. We act it with the clarity. We work to find the operative words, and we have big physical space to perform in. We also put a synopsis in the program, scene by scene, just a sentence or two of what the action is, and people can just relax, let it roll over you, and you're gonna be surprised at what you understand. Children have been particularly good at understanding it, so I think that's a big piece.
Well,
Yeah, I agree.
Let's talk a little more about that, because we've all had the experience going back to high school, reading Shakespeare, which we know is not how it's supposed to be experienced. So how do you make it accessible to a modern audience?
Okay, well, you start with, we work first folio. So we do a table work in rehearsal, which is, well, the first quarter of rehearsal, sitting around a table with all our resources and figuring out what we're saying, why we're using this word, what this word meant. We have a wonderful dramaturg, Dr. Mila Riggio, Professor Emeritus from Trinity College. And she is our dramaturg, and she'll help us drill down. So we have a deep understanding of the language, why, in the world in which it was written, not just the language, but how it was used in that world. First folio gives us additional clues for acting, much like the musical score. First folio has the original punctuation. A semicolon will mean something different than a colon. Certain words capitalized, where to breathe, much like a musical score does. But modern editors have ripped out all that punctuation and just put in modern punctuation, thinking it's easier to read. It's never easy to read. We say Shakespeare has to be tasted, embodied, watched, heard. It's a performance art. It's not, his poetry is his poetry, right? But his plays are not his poetry. They're not to be read. Even his poetry was spoken word. So that, to me, so you start with that knowledge, you start with the first folio cues, you have good directors, good company, you explore it on its feet, you used intentional gestures, intentional movement forward. If I'm going to move into somebody to indicate something's an intimate conversation, I'm going to make that move because we're outdoors. We have a vast amount of space to fill. So that together, and then by doing that text work, you really do drill within the convoluted phrasing what the operative words are. And to practice, you know, we rehearse in the room together, then I'm on my own and I'm saying my lines very technically out loud 10 times in each, you know, on my fingers, so I can get it into my body is the only way to learn it. And then to explore what comes naturally, what should be emphasized. So there's a lot that goes into it, but year by year by year, and with working with other experts, we've cultivated to where we are.
Yeah, you talked about you have professional Connecticut-based actors and everybody who's running the show on the side. You have a very diversified group of actors and actresses.
Yeah.
They are amazing, amazing people. And I really can't explain how beautiful it is to sit out there because you have the auditorium on the one side, you have buildings on the other side. You're sitting on a beautiful lawn that's closed. It's away from anything else that's going on campus. And you can just enjoy, you know, the sunshine and so on and so forth. Bring sunscreen if it's during an afternoon matinee.
That's right. We
Yep,
actually
on
do
a
have
Sunday.
sunscreen and bug spray at the table if you need it.
Yeah.
We've
But
thought of everything.
yeah, I mean, when you're sitting there in the audience, you have people, because you are outside, entering from all over the place. You don't know if somebody's going to come from behind you or from behind the stage or from the left or the right and so on and so forth. So you really are part of the action in a lot of different ways there. So
And I think that feels good because it's so important. And that takes us back to Shakespeare's roots. You know, there really wasn't a lot of separation. There were if you were the upper crust, right? If you were in the royalty boxes, but the groundlings, even coming into towns and dropping the wagon and performing on the earth. This is theater is really all you need is, you know, the story, one player and one spectator. So the audience is a big third of what we do and what we need. So we sense them and we like to have you in proximity. It makes it more real for us.
Yeah, I remember when we did Richard III, when they finally killed him at the end, the audience just erupted in this cathartic purging of happiness that he was dead. And, you know, they just cheered and cheered.
but he made it back for the next show.
He made it back for a curtain call even sooner. Yeah.
Yeah, and one thing we do invest in is diversified casting, culturally, gender, you know, even cross-gendering certain characters when they work, and taking some freedom in that regard because we want the world on the stage to really look like people we're performing for, our community. So we work hard to diversify the casting and bring, you know, equality and diversity to our stories, even within taking creative license within a family, even. So that adds a lot, and that's been intentional, and it's been fun. It enriches the production.
Nice. So, yeah, you obviously do a lot to bring the audience into the production itself. You know, again, over the years, so many people have lost the idea that Shakespeare was originally meant for the common audience. It wasn't for the upper crust. And so you're really trying to bring that back.
Yeah, and show the relevance in these stories. It just reminded me, my youngest son is teaching school in Brooklyn, and he had to show his fourth graders who were left behind in a punishment from a field trip. He showed them The Princess Bride, and that's like a classic story to me. And that just, they were enamored and just enthralled by it. And when you see a story that holds magic and truth that way, in kind of a timeless capacity, and I think the timelessness of it gives us a safe distance at first, but pretty soon it all becomes very familiar. And there's something about it that resonates. I mean, we're in difficult times culturally as a country, as a world. I mean, we always are, but we're very aware of it. And I think seeing things worked out on stage reminds us in a way what we've always been through and where we could potentially go based on our decisions. And Shakespeare's a great teacher.
Nice. So you mentioned that you have professional Connecticut-based actors and actresses. Do you have actors and actresses that come back year after year? Is it a different set of actors each time?
It's a bit of a mix, mostly returning. We used to have, 10 years ago, a core ensemble, many of whom have aged out. And I'm on the end cusp of that, you get tired. And then many of the students from the University of Hartford or UConn or Housatonic Community College in Bridgeport, we get a lot of students we work with. So they go on in their lives. They move to New York. We stay in touch.
Yep.
We see some on TV, which is really a lot of fun. But we do have a core ensemble here. For example, our Hamlet is Mauricio Miranda. He is an equity actor. We worked with him before he was equity. He was Benedict and Our Much Ado About Nothing, and he is fabulous. Since then, he's been at Hartford Stage and Elm Shakespeare and all over the place. And we were very happy to secure him as Hamlet and give him an equity contract. So that's one nice piece. But a lot of actors return. Some come in and out over the years.
Nice. So you're really providing a launching pad almost for local actors and actors who may not be local but are going to local universities.
Yes, and that's been
Yes.
really rewarding.
Yeah, I think we really provide a family experience, not only to the audience, but we have actors who return year after year because they love working with Jeff and Laura. They love the artists who support them, the board, the community that supports them. They're happy to come back year after year. They love West Hartford, and Hartford certainly, there's something about the greater Hartford community has a passion for Shakespeare. We've been doing it for over 30 years, but you look at some of the tremendous productions at Hartford Stage, the Hartford loves Shakespeare, and we're happy to help feed that addiction this year with two plays, Hamlet and Taming of the Shrew.
So after so many years, do you have a favorite production?
It's always the one we're just about to do.
Good answer.
Because I get like this point of year, we start rehearsals June 1st, and we have an intense rehearsal schedule this year for the two shows. We're doing them simultaneously. And so I'm working with my scripts, and right now they're my favorite shows in the whole wide world ever. Looking back, I have favorite roles, favorite experiences. I really loved Othello. I loved when we did Othello. I always loved the Scottish play. I would say
I
that's
love watching the play. Certainly, I've been a fan for over 30 years and on the board for, it's got to be like 20. At this point in my relationship with Capitol Classics, I love to watch the audience too. I love to see, a mother and their son or daughter curled up watching it. You see couples with their arms around each other watching it. You see families, full families. You've got seniors. You've got folks with a Tanglewoods picnic and a candelabra to someone who grabbed some food at Whole Foods and ran over. So it's really neat to see young kids jump to their feet or want to see the castle or see Romeo's sword after the play, or cry at the death of one of the characters. It's pretty neat to watch. It's pretty neat to watch the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you were asked earlier as far as why things have grown. I think obviously there's a big cry for people just to get out away from the COVID mess that we went through,
Yeah.
away from what's going on in the world. I mean, just picture if you could just getting together with 5 or 10 of your favorite people and just escaping for 3 hours and sitting out in a beautiful setting with a whole bunch of other people that are doing the same thing as you and just forgetting about the world for a while and slowing things down and going back to stuff that's been entertaining us for hundreds of years. It's just an amazing thing. And I would imagine that you probably, as you've gotten more popular and been around for a while, are drawing people from outside areas. Hopefully, Capitol Classics is more of a destination point for people traveling into town and whatever, which obviously provides a boost for the surrounding economy in West Hartford and Hartford and so on and so forth. I mean, anytime people look at entertainment and so on and so forth and say, why should we support entertainment and go out to a play and this and that, whatever, inevitably you got whining and dining before or afterwards. You have transportation. You may have hotels to go to. You may have babysitters and a lot of other things where it's a big economy boost, which people don't really realize. It's a lot of fun for you, but it does a whole lot for the local community. And that's something that you have portrayed in your website as far as the economic boost that it gives to the West Hartford and Hartford community every year, as far as the community itself, and obviously paying your actors and your help and so on and so forth. It's a whole business to be involved with.
And I'd like to say about that, on the topic of payment, we pay all the artists, and that's really where all the money goes into the production. At this point, our organization has no paid staff. We are all volunteers, from sponsors, raising funds, to writing grants, to filing taxes, to everything is volunteer. And so all the money does go in. So we really appreciate our sponsors and supporters and funders, but boy, we need more, because it's money well spent. There's no wasted funding.
Yeah, everything goes into the production. So it's going to pay the salaries for the actors, costumes, lights. There's things that we'd love to do. We'd love to do merchandise this year, sell t-shirts and other things. We'd love to, expand our pre-show entertainment. There's things that we'd love to do, but we are looking for individual donations and sponsors. If I can give a shameless plug, you can learn all about that at capitalclassics.org. But it's also, it's you do get a great opportunity to see a performance. But Chip, you're right. Our economic impact on that greater Hartford community, we calculated it over $250,000 a year. For every dollar spent on tickets, you're bringing in over $3 in that greater Hartford community. If you think about gas, food, drinks, picnics, equipment, clothes, babysitters, and more, it adds up. So we're really,
and all our
giving
funds,
back.
All our funds stay in Connecticut. For example, whatever we put into our set design, we're going to buy lumber, at Home Depot or wherever local, we're going to buy lumber, we're going to buy paint, our costume designers, everybody's here. Our actors are eating at these restaurants, so it really does fuel its own community.
Yeah, I just picked up our postcards that we did with printed with a local printer here. We'll do the same with our posters. We are loyal to our community.
Fantastic. So you had mentioned you're looking to expand your pre-performance. What right now, I guess, based on what you did last year, is the experience of an audience member when they first arrive?
Well, they're going to, you go ahead, Herb.
Okay, I've been part of a lot of committee meetings, so I can say the first thing when you get there is that you're going to have everything that you need to know from our website. You go to St. Joseph, you have a well-lit free parking lot that is an easy walk, or you can drop off your picnic baskets and right next to the area where outdoors is held. And you're going to be greeted by happy volunteers in their blue t-shirts who are going to make you feel welcome. We've got tickets that can be purchased online or at the door. We've got folks with scanners to scan your tickets. You can get there early. If you want to get there 2 hours early and enjoy the sunshine, you can do that. Our pre-show entertainment, we're working to line things up, but we've had singers. We're talking to the University of St. Joseph Dance Company to perform on a couple of nights. We have a very popular Elizabethan consort who people love. We've had professor talks. One change and one addition that we're doing this year is that the University of St. Joseph, their food providers will be selling food at the production. So they'll be selling hot dogs and hamburgers and soda and alcoholic beverages too, and snacks. So if you forgot something at home or wanted to purchase your food at the production, you can do that. So that's a big addition. That's a big change this year too.
So it really is more than just the play. It's an entire festival for people to come and enjoy and spend time at.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. We've worked hard to really try to round out that festival experience.
The Art Museum.
Yeah, the Art Museum, I was just going to say, is open for a free gallery tour to take a look before or during intermission. That's the University of St. Joseph's beautiful art exhibits that are in there. They've got some incredible works of art that they will have on display. We're looking to have some costumes from past productions in the lobby. so you can look back and remember some of your favorite plays. And yeah, so we're really trying to give that full experience.
Fantastic. Well, we are coming up on the end of our time. So for those people who are interested in getting tickets, learning more about the production company, how can they do so?
They can go to capitalclassics.org. We've got everything right there. You can purchase tickets from our website. You can purchase online. You can purchase at the door. We always like when you purchase in advance, because you can just walk right up and show your printout of or show it on your phone and get right in. You don't have to wait in a line. You can just go right in, but it's capitalclassics.org. Food will be available. There's all sorts of tips on our website too on how to enjoy the experience. We've got our weather policy there in case you have any questions about changing weather patterns. It's all right there for you at capitalclassics.org.
CAPITAL, Capital Classics.
Capital, but I also bought OL just for that very.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you.
Just in case.
Brilliant.
Just in case.
All right. So, Chip, what do you think is the big takeaway for this week?
Yeah, nothing like a mistake-proof domain, Herb. That's good. Spread the word. Show up. I mean, festival is a perfect way to put this. All summer long, we have a festival going on right here in West Hartford, Connecticut. And again, the grounds are beautiful. The experience itself is beautiful. You are right in the middle of things. And I really highly, highly recommend going and exploring the website. And I'm sure that you feel any questions and so on and so forth that people want, but I would check it out. If you have people coming in from out of town this summer out there and you're listening, plan to go there on a weeknight or on a Saturday or Sunday and just have a wonderful time. I guarantee that whoever comes out here is going to want to keep going back year after year. Guarantee it.
Excellent. Yeah, I think for me, the big takeaway is forget about what you learned about Shakespeare in high school class. This is Shakespeare the way it was meant to be experienced. Live theater out in the open, an entire experience for the evening, not just or afternoon if you go to a matinee. It's not reading it, the dry language that we're used to. This is the performance, and go enjoy yourself and really get to feel Shakespeare rather than just thinking about it. You've been listening to the Success Showcase. You can catch every episode at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and wherever you find podcasts. Remember, make this your best week ever and make next week even better. We'll see you then.